Welcome everyone, more reviews of European foods. And of course, these are sold all over Europe as the German grocery store chains are in every country by the hundreds, if not thousands. So what you see here is what's going to, they're also all over the U.S. Lidl, Aldi, Trader Joe's, so you'll see them everywhere. But here's another typical knockoff. This is what you would consider a German knockoff. This is produced by the Lidl company, as you can see here, which has stores in the United States, by the way. Here's all the breakdown, if that has any value. Here's the list of ingredients, which is very typical. Again, this is a copy. Oreos is the most popular American cookie, originally called a biscuit, and the history of Oreos is very interesting, but I'm not going to cover that too much now. Oreos is now owned, or the company that makes Oreos in the United States is owned by the Belgian company, which, guess what, produces these as well, because nothing has come as produced in America. Well, now Oreos aren't produced in America. They're made in Mexico. Most of the European Oreos are either made in the Netherlands or in Spain. But the company that owns the American Oreo company, started in America, almost 100 years old, is now Mondelez. But this is a Belgian company now. They bought Oreos, took it over several years ago, and have now moved production into Mexico, of course. But, you know, the government allows that, so, of course, it happens. So, bend over, America. That's how you look the best. As usual, and we're going to talk about eating Oreos and everything else, because there's misinformation on that as well. But here's your typical, and this is how they come in Europe. They come in little packages like this. I don't know if there are 14 in here. And this cost about $1, well, about $1.50, about $1.70 US. And here's the knockoff of them done by the famous Bakers and Copies, Sunday, which is a Lidl copy company. But you got to remember that all the companies in Germany all work together. So this company goes under several different names, and they all make the same thing. They send it to all the same stores in Germany, and that's how they work. So while there are several food stores, that's kind of a misnomer. There's really no competition. They all work together. They all buy from the same distributors. What they do is that this is a Lidl brand, house brand Sunday, and another organization like Aldi, which is different. Or some other, they'll have another brand. So they all have their own brand names. But let's take a look at these and let's go through the old taste test with this. Now, Oreo is the most popular cookie in America, and that means cookie, which is an American term. The Brits like to use the term biscuit, and of course it started as biscuits. Cookie is kind of new. We could look that up, and maybe I'll do some information on that. And I will do information on Oreos. I will be having an actual video on all the German food chains that are all over the world, and so forth. So here, and these are all made this. Let's take a look at it. What do they look like? Now, Oreos have a very particular look to them, obviously. They're pretty big, almost big as the opening of a castle. So the whole idea is that they have all the same openings. You can see that they have the signature brand here with the print on it. These are kind of done pretty crappy. They're not clear. I don't remember what this is. I've eaten Oreos, but it's never been my favorite cookie. But these are made kind of primitive. So you have those, and of course it's the same style. And I have had these before here, and they taste basically the same. You know, and of course then you have the copy brand, the knockoff brand, which Germans are so good at. We have no original ideas. We buy our crap cars, our bitter beer, because we are Germans. So the whole idea is that here's the alternative brand. And you can see that let's put it next to the crappy print that an Oreo is, that they make here. As I said, these are not very clear. I remember them being very clear in America. Of course, they come in big packages and boxes. Here's the other one next to it. You can see they're kind of imitating it. This is some sort of print, and it says Neo on it. It's a matrix sandwich. It's Neo. They probably don't get that in Germany anyway, because they don't get much anything. So it's called Neo. And you can see this is what it looks from the side. It's got that typical white filling. It's supposed to be vanilla. Let's look at this one. It's hard to see even the inside of there. Let's get another one. Looks like they give you a little more filling. Let's see if we can find one that we can see inside. You can see a little bit inside here. They give you less here, but it looks like they're giving you more filling. Now, and we'll take a look and taste test these. Now, one of the problems with understanding, people say, and it even says on there, and I've got myself some good old organic cow juice. It says twist, lick, and dunk. Well, that's the wrong way. An Oreo is supposed to be a combination of vanilla and chocolate together, combining those particular flavors. That's the whole idea of it. When you twist it off, boy, these are in bad shape. When you twist it off, what you're doing is perverting the flavors. Now, if you lick this off, you're getting a vanilla flavor, which is very sweet. Now, if you like that, that's wonderful. But what you've done is now you're eating vanilla, and then you eat this, the sandwich cookie, which is chocolate. So you've broken up the flavors. That is retarded. What you want to do is combine the flavors. That's the whole idea of eating the cookie that way. So, but I don't know where that came from. I don't know what that little lore is, but you know, it's your mouth and stomach. Eat it as you like it, dude. So let's try one of these. Now, this is the actual American Oreo cookie, which have been eaten by the billions and still the #1 cookie in America. So let me try that. A mano, nude, before we add any and do it the right way, which I'll show you how to do. Let's taste this. Well, that's the Oreo cookie that we all know and love. And it is good, and it's interesting that the Oreo cookie is a copy of another cookie, the Hydrox Company, which I remember the Hydrox Company, and the different things that they made. And apparently, Oreo or Nabisco, I believe at that time, copied them. Isn't that interesting? Let me take a little palate cleanser. We want to do this right, you know. Now we're going to take one of these. Now again, it looks like they're giving you more cream. Let's kind of break this open and look at it. But the cookies are the same size. The cookies seem to be the same size, or maybe even a little thicker. Depends how much you want to analyze this. It does appear that there is a little bit more cream in there, or at least you're seeing it much easier compared to these, which you don't see as much. Well, it appears that they're using less cream in the original Oreos. Does that mean anything? Me don't know. Me tasty now. Okay. Okay. Well, these do taste different. There's a slightly different taste like everything else. And like most copies you get and what you get in the supermarkets, nothing is ever that bad. It just depends, are you an aficionado or not? There tends to be more of a vanilla, sweetie taste to this. This tends to be a little more chocolate. So you're not really tasting the vanilla the way you should. Let's try another one of these and see what we can say here. Again, it depends how particular you want to get. But there is a difference, but it's still, you're not getting the same. Let's try the Oreo yet again. You know, so many things in life are like sex and pizza. The bottom line is that, you know, some is better than others, but is any of it ever bad? Pizza's always good, sex is always good, regardless of how bad it is. So let's try another traditional messed up Oreo. And, yeah, this is much more of a delicate flavor. Your hit with the copies are very chocolate. You're not really tasting the cream very much. This has a much better blend of the vanilla and the chocolate, which is what it's supposed to be. That's what an Oreo is, people. It's not supposed to be eaten separately. So, you know, you should see a doctor or go to a mental health specialist if you're twisting your cookie. It's weird. It's not normal. So, the proper way to eat an Oreo is either nude, just like I have tasted these, or, of course, there's always the wonderful dunking. Dunkaroos, dunkies. So, there's always that we can do. And, of course, when you dunk your cookie, and let's go with a traditional Oreo, nice to see more of American culture raped and stolen by the freaky international typies. You know, the people we died for. Okay, now, here's the Oreo. Now, what you do is you dunk it fully together. And the right way to eat an Oreo is to make sure when you dunk it, it is in there long enough to soften the cookie. This is the correct way to dunky. Dunking it and going in and out, that's not anything. You're not getting any of the milk. It's just running off. To combine that beautiful milk flavor, and this is nice organic milk, you need to leave it in there a while. Make sure that the cookie absorbs the actual milk before you eat it. So usually that means putting it in there for a bit of time. Could be a minute or two, maybe even more. So that's probably been there long enough, and let's try it again. Make sure you dunk it properly and any excess is taken off so you don't drip it all over. Up. Whoop. And that's typical if you've done it right. It should start to break apart. Now the actual cookie, when it goes in your mouth, should be falling apart. So, that was the correct way to do it. Let's try it with one of the counterfeities. Here's the Neo. Just enough of similar to Oreo to make sure that you are confused enough to buy it. And again, the prices are different. This is about 30 cents a package less. Okay. So I'm still dunking this. This cookie is much harder because it's got a lot more chocolate flavor in it. And that's, of course, not what you're looking for. You want to make sure you have a balance of flavor. You want to make sure you taste the chocolate and the vanilla together. That's the secret of an Oreo. That may be enough. Let's try it here. Yes, that was. And it tastes better that way, but it still has that overriding chocolate flavor to it, which you may like, but that's not what an Oreo is. Oreo is not about being chocolate. An Oreo is about being chocolate and vanilla. Let's try another of the American Oreo. So as I said, you dunk these in. That's the proper way. Now you're going to add that milk flavor to it, which is unique and special unto itself. That should be long enough. All right, well, And yes, what you're tasting here on a very strong way, and I'll have one more of the fakers, the knock-offs. And what you're tasting there in the original Oreo is you get hit with a lot of sugary vanilla as an end, with a hint of chocolate. Now, it's the opposite with the Neos. Yeah, that's right. The Neos, of course, hit you with chocolate, and you don't taste the vanilla very much at all. Now, that's not an Oreo. There's lots of chocolate out there. Chocolate bars, chocolate flavoring, chocolate everything. If you don't get that vanilla in there, you're not getting the same flavor. So, if you want a chocolate cookie, get a chocolate cookie. The uniqueness about the Oreo is that filling, and there's different fillings now and different everything else. But what's interesting, again, is they sell them in these packages of 14. I've never seen them in bigger amounts. I've seen them in different styles. I bought Lady Gaga style a week or two ago. I think it was, had a different cream center, and the outside was vanilla as well. I don't know. Don't remember. Me don't think he too good. I'm getting old. So the whole idea is that these, I would say, are a chocolate cookie, Neo, by Sunday. Now, this Sunday, people, of course, is a big bakery for Lidl, which has tens of thousands of stores. I forget how many stores I just saw. I looked online. They have almost 100,000 stores around the world. They're in Finland. They're all over the United States. Now, you're talking about a huge operation. And of course, as I said, they all work together. All of these chains work together so they can expand their companies outside of their own country and make lots of money. People don't understand that Germany makes a fortune exporting food. People think that maybe it's cars, or they're bad beer, or they're bad cars, I should really say. Volkswagen being one of the most criminal organizations in history, and have recently been fined billions. People think that, they think high-tech. Well, I haven't seen much of any of that either. But the point is that these are all areas that, to some extent, are minor. They're pushing into the food market because everybody eats. So they use their manipulative skills and their manufacturing abilities to sell food. Everybody needs it, and it's a billion dollars. If we combine all the sales from the food stores that are German-based, you're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars in sales. It's kind of shocking. I haven't added it all up, but it is all there. So, this is very interesting. England has other knockoffs, Duplex. Their dollar stores and other things sell all sorts of cookies similar to this. There are several brands in England in particular, some made in Spain, where a lot of people say the Oreos are made. I haven't really seen that with this. I don't know if we can find out. But you do have to make it in the EU, or you really can't get it into the country. They won't allow it, or they'll tax you so much that every cookie would cost you $10. So, there's an actual, I'm not sure. And that's another thing you don't get. They're not required to put where products are made in Germany. So they could come from anywhere, basically, and you wouldn't know it. This claims to have a distributor here, but I mean, it's got the Mondelzi name on here, but it's hard to say exactly, and who cares? So, as I said, some say it's Spain, but others, as I've said, you'll find stuff in England that it's quite amazing how this gives you so much more, but you don't taste any of this. You're not tasting any kind of vanilla. It's just sweet. The cracker itself, the outside of it, is loaded with chocolate flavoring. So that's what you do. But that's not an Oreo. And of course, they misunderstood that as copiers and manufacturers, as most Europeans misunderstand everything, because they won't hire any native speakers. They won't hire anybody that knows anything that comes from a country. They just copy it, and they think, I'm smart. I know better. Yeah. We put Arnold as a governor. So the whole idea is that this is the kind of stuff that you run into, so it's always kind of a little goofy. Of understanding what's happening there. So, the usual thing, if you care about that, but you got to remember, everybody, you got to remember, Americans, your jobs are leaving so quickly it isn't funny. If you support, the supermarket industry has always been a well-paying job to have. They've had good unions. They take care of themselves. These robber barons are coming in, and they are taking it away all over the world. So, this Lidl is in every single country in the world almost. That is a Western or a decent country that has any kind of income. So remember that and remember what you're doing. But be careful here. First of all, what we ought to do is take care of those so-called American companies that are making these in Mexico now. So it all becomes kind of moot in the bigger picture. But in the end, 2 different flavors. One is a chocolate cookie and one is a chocolate vanilla cookie as it was meant to be. Hope you enjoyed it.